Smash the whole thing into its parts. Let it out, grow, grow, grow. The further we go, go, go. The less do we see, see, see. And all we can hear is just an echo of our laughter. My head underwater.
Alright guys, so yeah, we're gonna do another live stream of course, so I'll be only posting this in the group from now. So we're gonna begin with two things, okay? One thing is important to mention, you know, before we even start the stream, is that it's soon Christmas, alright? And the end of the year is very close, so price action, we might have less liquidity than usual, okay? And keep in mind that no funds and whatnot will take on big swing positions at the end of the year. Okay? It's less likely that they will build big positions, right? So at this point, you know, we have to be more careful and preserve the capital, okay? So it's important to recognize that aspect, okay? And give me a second, and we're gonna go take a quick look at the economic calendar for this week. Just give me a second here. So see if anything, you know, that stands out that we need, you know, to focus on. So keep in mind that the euro and the cable, you know, they might be fairly difficult to trade the coming days, you know, because of the Brexit and whatnot. So important to recognize that and focus on, you know, for example, the Aussie pair, the New Zealand pair, the Canadian dollar will most likely be a bit cleaner, okay? So we got OCT, Euro, Australia, United Kingdom, again this, yeah. Here, so we got the United Kingdom employment change, SEP, on Tuesday, OCT, okay, the France, inflation rate in Italy, OCT, we got core inflation rate for the British pound, video conference, okay. So I will get my news bank reports tomorrow, okay, so also got the CAD inflation rate forecast. Okay, so yeah, core inflation rate, it's out. Right. So we're just gonna keep in mind, okay, so Australia employment change to the end, yeah, and then we got the core inflation rate by the euro, interest rate decision. Okay, so a lot of things coming up. Okay, so we got to be careful this week. Okay, guys. So let's start off with your USD. So I'm gonna try to trade a bit more on the MetaTrader because I will show you a few things. Okay, which I recognized is that when you use the MetaTrader, okay, this is very still, right? So when you scroll, can you see that you can frame whatever you want? Okay, and this is just by my scroll button. And when you zoom out from the monthly, to the weekly, let's use. It gives a different picture. Okay, I just want to mention this. It's important to recognize this in my opinion, right? So the daily, okay, on a daily, zoom out. If you look on the daily, you can see that we carry the whole swing. Okay, it's the framing of the price action. So let me show you this. If I go to, for example, a 4-hour chart, to me, if you zoom in on this, it creates the wrong perception of how price action looks like. So what we're trying to frame is that we want a consolidation in the frame. Okay, and we want to move away from that consolidation, and then from that top to this consolidation of bottom, we want to see the price action, and we want to know where we are. Are we at the top? Are we closing in close to the bottom of this? Have we gone below it? Where are we in relation of the price swing? And each time frame will be different related to that. Okay, so let me show you a very good example. So if you go to the monthly and look at this, so on my monthly, it will be it's different. But give me a second there. So what we can see now, right? So is that if we are on a monthly now, we got a price swing. Okay, we got a consolidation, and we have a move away. Okay, and then we make here price action. We have extension to the downside. We create a base here, we release to the upside, we come back, we retest the base, we release to the upside, we make another base, we release to the upside. Okay, so we know where we are in relation to this swing. Okay, so this is one swing, right? And this here is another swing. Okay, if you can see that. And this is another swing, and everything is just a fractal within a fractal. So if you go on the monthly, and we understand that, all right, so we have gone, we have the base, we moved away, we came back close to the base, right? We didn't quite get to the bottom of it, right? But we found probably some more price action history, that found support there at the moment. Okay, and we move now to the bottom of this base, next base, and we are pushing away. Okay, so in relation to that, this is a monthly. So when you go to the weekly, this will be a weekly chart. Okay, so we have a context where we are on the monthly. So when we go to the weekly chart, now we will see only this price action, right? So you press the weekly, all right? So suddenly now we are only within this price swing. Okay, it's better to zoom in on this. Okay, so now we are in context of this price swing. Okay, and where is the ultimate target? So why I love this, because I can't do anything more with the price action. So I got this here is the point of release. Okay, so if we go through this level of current resistance, okay, and we start continuing higher, the ultimate target for resistance will be this level here of consolidation, right? So in context, just let me put just a trend line just to be very quick. Okay, so that will be the next overall target. And if you watch the bank reports, right, the algorithms and whatnot, seeing the same thing here. So I think it's important to recognize this, right? So this is now on a weekly. So we have the context on a monthly. So if you go back to the monthly chart, we can see that it's the top, right? So we have this pivot, okay, it's this pivot, this price action, this apex base before the release to the downside, right? That is the target we see when we go take this into a weekly chart, right? So if we zoom in on this, if we zoom in on this, right, on a weekly, we can see how we are released to the upside. Here is the base we are watching, okay? But I think there's no relevance zooming in on this, all right? It doesn't give enough context, except that we can see that we are here hitting, going up in towards a level of resistance, which is also a point of release. Okay, so if you take, let me take that away, zoom back out. Okay, and then we go to the daily, and on a daily chart, okay, on a daily chart, this here will be what we focus on. Okay, so now we got the context of the monthly, weekly, and we zoom into to the daily, right? So we go zoom into the daily chart, and you can see how we have then this base here, which we release to the upside. We retest these highs, we create another base, we release to the upside, top pattern, release down. Okay, and we catch a bid here, double bottom. Okay, bids too strong. Ultimate target for most people will probably back in towards this prior consolidation, okay, which was the most likely the target for most people, but we didn't get there. We had only a double bottom, so the bids were too strong, okay, and we didn't need to go further in search of liquidity. That is relation to the to the dollar, right? Because of the negative interest rates makes a very aggressive sell-off for the dollar, and people, you know, are buying into pound, no, into euro, CAD, Australian dollar, and whatnot. All right, so we make a double bottom, we release to the upside, okay, and then we retest this trend line. Okay, so if I take everything off again, so we retest this level here, we build a base, we release up, we retest this level, okay, we retest the highs there, create another base, release to the upside, and now we're creating another flag, okay, if you want to call it bear flag. So now we can discuss, you know, a few other targets. So that is what happened on a daily. Okay, so if you're going to a 4-hour chart, on a 4-hour chart, we will most likely only see this price swing. All right, so now we have the context of what is going on the daily, right? So this is the prior consolidation, this is the inefficient move. So if you do get a move to the downside, this will be the ultimate buy, but we do not need to get that low, right? We can only make a small drop there, find liquidity, create another liquidity base, and release to the upside. Because if you look at the price action there, we are trending up, create a shelf, we go up, we create a shelf, we go up, we create a shelf, we go up, we create a shelf, and we're continuing. Okay, it's a bullish uptrend, and that is exactly, you know, what we are seeing. So we never know how deep the consolidation or the retracement will be, right? So let's go to the 4-hour chart now and look at the Euro USD. We can see here that we have the swing I talked about, right? So we have then, you know, we can discuss other price action features, right? So we have here a base we created, right? And here you can see as well another base within that particular fractal, okay? And we continue, you know, building, you know, these levels of basically accumulation, right? And we release here to the upside again. We retest here the top of this price action, back to the upside right there. We come back, we retest this level, we release again with a stronger move here to the upside. Now this here is a liquidity apex base. Here we get a retest, we dump to the downside, and then we have the final dump in towards this level here of liquidity, right? And we went back up again. All right, so that is the 4-hour chart. So on the 4-hour chart, we can say that the ultimate level we would like to engage in, right, will be either of these two levels, you know, so depending on how deep we will go. But considering what is going on, you know, I think even both of them are less likely. This will be a definitely buy for me because it's a 1.2, which is also a big figure. Okay, this is absolute much less likely, but that would also be a decent buy opportunity, right? So I think, you know, we can take away this one. We can also take away this one because we don't need them. Okay, what we are looking at is that this level here is the last level of consolidation we made. We have here a high, and this is an inefficient move of a candle, right? So if this, you know, releases to the downside, this here should cap it as a potential support level. And also, you know, if you look here to this side of the screen, right, we can also put on, for example, just a trend line on top of that. You can see how the top of this level, give me a second, how this type of a level, okay, also corresponds, with the same level, right? So important to recognize that. So we don't need the line to tell us that, okay? We know this from beforehand. So if we zoom now back into a 1 hour chart, we will most likely see this price swing to this, okay? I think this here will then be what we are watching, all right? So let's go to the 1 hour chart. All right, perfect. So now we're watching that price action I just showed you, right? On the 4 hour, that will be just this last bit of the leg up, right? So that means that we know, if you zoom in here, we know that this was the place that we were interested in, okay? To see a move back in towards, this level of support, right? And we have this clear shelf, which we found support, okay? And now we're just sitting just in between. And just by looking at this, I can easily say that this is most likely the 50% retracement we are sitting at. So if I take that away, so if we zoom now to the 30-minute chart, on the 30-minute chart, we will just see this last bit of consolidation, all right? Okay, so then we got the last bit here of consolidation. If you take the fib, let's check from the bottom to the top. We're sitting here at the 50%, as I said, right? So it's just, you can clearly see it. It's the middle ground, right? So sitting on the 50% retracement there. So if you go to the 50-minute chart, what are we seeing, right? It will be this level, all right? So 50-minute chart, we only see that level, right? So now we focused on this level where we have just more definition in the bodies, right? So we have here accumulation apex, release to the downside. We're finding support here in the middle of this shelf, okay, prior accumulation before we release to here to the upside, right? And then we have some more definition below here, okay, which is interesting. That one, this accumulation, okay, and we can say that this whole level of accumulation, so if a price moves down here, that should be, we should see some reaction. So if you go to a 5-minute chart, we're just gonna see this, right? All right, so then we just see this even more, just more definition, right? So we just see, the same we talked about, the apex space. We might get up, retest the apex space, then go down, who knows, right? So point being is that if you go to the 1-minute chart, then we're most likely just going to see, some way just in within that, right? All right, so then we see just choppiness. So everything is basically, it's just fractal within fractal within fractals. Okay, it's important, very important we recognize this. So if you go back now all the way to back to the monthly, we can build concept, right? So if we know that we are here at the prior consolidation, this is a clear breaking point, okay, which we have not reacted to, all right? So if you take this one, we go at the bottom here, you can see that we have not really reacted to this clean breaking point, right? So we know that there is some candles, there is some more volume, overall volume above here, okay? So that will be also in the point of release, and we have not hit that level of volume. So for me to start being, very bearish on this, I can't see it, okay? We have, you can see here clearly that we have, the sort of the double bottom here, and we're going up here to take out these highs, and most likely we're going to trend higher. And also what we have seen from the bank reports. So if you go now to the weekly building context, all right, so we have first level of resistance, second level of resistance, right? So if you first start, getting above here, we will start trending much higher, in my opinion, right? So then here we got on the weekly, we can zoom in here a tad bit, right? So we can see, okay, so we can put some more right there, okay? On top of this body would be a bit better placement, right? So then we go zoom back out, we go to the daily, okay? And we can't see on daily, but we can zoom back and see, right? So doesn't say much. We also have, we can say the top, sorry, give me a second there, just on top of there, okay? So we got now a better region that we are looking at. So zoom back out, right? So that is something we will head towards when we see it, right? So if you go here in towards the weekly, it looks different. On the monthly, again it looks different, right? So we know that once we get into towards those levels, we have to start paying attention. So from the monthly, you can see how the price goes into a fractal of a fractal, right? So on the monthly one last time, I just want to show you this, man, because I think it's important that you really recognize this, right? So on a monthly, we see this whole price swing. So on a weekly, we see this price swing, okay? On a daily, we see this price swing. On a 4 hour, we see this price swing. On a 1 hour, we see this price swing. On a 30 minutes, you see this price swing. And on the 5 minutes, you see that small price swing within. But you're building the context from without, right? So it's a fractal within a fractal within a fractal within a fractal, okay? So that is how you build basically the case from the weekly to the daily to the 4 hour to the 1 hour to the 30 minute to the 50 minute and whatnot, right? So yeah, that's about it. I think for your use case, we're gonna see how we open on Monday tomorrow. Okay, key level here that we're gonna pay attention to. Okay, and I think most likely if you do not get a big sell-off, we have to pay attention to this level. So it corresponds fairly well if you go to the 1 hour chart. And use a fib level, right? So you can see that the 70, the 80% retracement and the golden pocket, right, is in a very decent level here. And we have a small gap. It's prior consolidation here as well. Okay, it's a level of liquidity. Okay, this whole level. So if you do get a dip in towards that level, that's something that we should pay attention to. Okay, at least that's my opinion. Okay, important to pay attention to that. So zoom out, 30-minute chart, right? So we can see what we're working with. All right. So next cable. So here are also perfect, right? So if you go to the monthly, we can let me take that off. So we can see what we are doing. Right? So we're in a massive downtrend, right? And we are finally, we can zoom in here if you want to see a bit clearly, but for the first time, right, we have dipped here, raided the lows there, okay, and we're moving higher. Give me a second, let me take off the volume. It really bothers me. Yeah. So we've seen here, we raided the low there, okay, and we have sort of SFP here and a strong reaction to the upside, okay, and these highs here has been a massive level of support and resistance in the history. Okay, so it's one of the biggest levels on cable. So if you look at this, right, from a bullish standpoint, that if you do get some sort of a bullish case here, we can say that this level here is will be accumulation for a release to the upside, right? So let's go to the weekly, right? So on the weekly, you can say that we will most likely just see this part of the chart, right? So we can frame loads of trend lines within these levels, right? So we have here a very important level, that most likely, if we come back in towards this level, we will have more levels before this, but this is a very key level. And at this particular level I'm showing you, that is a place where I will go aggressively short, right? So it's one of the bread and butters trades that I have. Point of release, okay, especially if you get a fairly strong move into that. So checking out the weekly, okay, so you can see on the weekly we have this here, point of release, so we can frame this trend line even a bit better. Come on, there you go. Okay, so just on top of that one, okay, we can actually use this, which is also a clean breaking point. This is just above the highs, right? So give me a second. As we zoom in, we can see what we are looking for within this level, right? So you can see the significance of this price point, right, from history. So we can use this whole level, right? Just showing you. So this whole level, how every single time cable has come in towards this level, we have seen a reaction. Okay, it's a massive level. Now, remember that we have done a SFP here. and we have gone up, tried it a second time, now a third time. So every time price goes up into towards this level, it gets more and more washed out. Okay, you're washing out all the sell liquidity resting there. Okay, so this, because look at this, we had this time we went to this price point, second time we tested this, look at the massive sell-off. Okay, and the third time we go up into towards this level, right, look at the reaction, not as strong, right? And the fourth time we go up into towards this level, look at the reaction, very small until now, right? So until now is really not strong. Okay, the sell-off. So then if you go to the daily, okay, double tap and look at the level we are standing in at the moment, right? Just in between there. Okay, so even if you go a tad bit lower, you can see that we had the trend lines go in towards this massive daily level, this level high, right? And these support levels. Okay, and you can see how we had a small reaction there, and look at the reaction. Okay, massive reaction to the upside. Okay, so it's a daily SR level as well. So if you take this chart now to the 4-hour chart, you can see on the daily here you can see it in better. So if I zoom out and frame more detail in the price action, so you got there the point of release, these highs, these resistance points, this becomes support, and now we're flipping this level. Can you see that? This is the first SR level we put on cable. This is absolutely bullish as fuck, right? Until of course we lose it. Okay, even if we lose, I think we're gonna reclaim it. But point being, right, it's a bullish sign, right, nonetheless. So if you go to the 4-hour chart, what we're gonna frame what we're gonna have in the frame will be this current price action. Okay, so you're just getting more detail. So if you go to the 4-hour, okay, we're framing only that price action I just showed you. So looking at that now, you know, we can see, all right, so we have this level, we had a decent reaction. So what can be next, right? So we should be looking here for a potential round the bottom, okay, and then take the price higher. So we would like price here to potentially frame a base, okay, some kind of a liquidity level here to release to the upside. All right, so it doesn't really matter how we make it. Okay, we can even, you know, price can move up like this, and then we can come back, make something like this, and then release. This hole would still be a base of liquidity. Can you see that? Okay, point being is that, for example, even if you get a very aggressive move and you come back down to testing the same level, this here is still a level of liquidity which releases, which makes all the strength to carry the price action much higher. Okay, so it doesn't mean that, you know, if price just moves like this, right, and it comes back in towards this level, it doesn't mean that we're still not making a stronger base, because if this base carries all the price action, the next release will be much greater. Okay, if you get the point. But anyway, so now we are on the 4-hour chart, right? So we're watching this, so it's decent. So I would like to sell if we get back in towards this level right there. Okay, and this level will be super decent. Okay, to sell, right? So just to make that, give you an example. All right, so we can say, so if price action, if I miss the long here and we have a big move up in towards this level, then I will catch it. Okay, I will catch that, and we will have a retrace back in towards this level, and we'll still create a base of liquidity to move higher. Moving into the 1-hour chart. Okay, we're seeing now just a fraction or whatever you want to call it, right? So we see here, this is bullish, right? So somebody messaged me about the gap on IG. So, you know, depending on the news, I don't know what to make of it anymore. Okay, but it's kind of bullish news. Okay, so I can easily see a swift move in towards this level. So once we get into towards this level of accumulation, we're gonna see a small reaction, and then, you know, we're gonna most likely something like this up here, small retracement back in towards this level. Okay, some bids most likely gonna get exhausted, stronger move, okay, up in towards this higher level here of liquidity. We got liquidity base right there, a base right there. Okay, we got right there. So if a move, if price action moves above this level, okay, it will be so weak that ultimately it will just come back down. Okay, so we will see how it develops. Okay, and we have to react according with the price action. So you can see, give me a second. There's nothing. So we can clearly see how, you know, it's a fractal within a fractal, right? So on a 50-minute chart, if you want to take, or a 5-minute chart, you can see what kind of trade we can be setting up, right? It means that price comes down here, perfect level of liquidity to the upside, right? Unless, you know, we already just, you know, getting a big squeeze. So in these cases, you know, Fibonacci is a decent level there, but most likely, you know, you're going to frame you the same price level nonetheless. Okay, so you see here this bottom right there, where we have this prior consolidation. There we go. Okay, doesn't matter. So this level right there, okay, is the golden target, right? So it's the golden target right there. But to me, I don't need it because we have here a level of accumulation. We have this low, so we know there is liquidity. Okay, so at that price level, we had stalling. There's a price level of liquidity. So if price, you know, comes back in towards this level, we know most likely we're gonna see some kind of a reaction. Okay, and we can take it back up in towards this level, which means that we're gonna most likely see a reaction because this level here is just washed out. Okay, it's nothing in there. There's no volume. Okay, so taking all that out, if you go back in now into a 1-hour chart, you can see here if price moves back down how it looks like. Okay, you go to the 4-hour and see you're building a context, right? So it's important to build the context and that you can't tweak the frame all the time. Okay, it's really important to recognize that, at least in my opinion. So again, the same here. Okay, on a monthly, okay, you can see that price here is within a range, even all the way in towards a 5-minute chart. Price should be like this. Okay, look at this. This is how price should look like because we are just within a fractal of a fractal of a fractal, right? So looking at the monthly like this, right? So you go to the weekly. Okay, we're framing only this above right there. Okay, on the weekly. Okay, so on the daily, we will most likely, I don't know, see something around these levels, right? On the daily, you're seeing the same. You can see that on every single time frame, it's the same similar price action. It's just a fractal, right? 4-hour chart, sideways. 1-hour chart, sideways. 30-minute chart, sideways. 15-minute chart, more or less sideways. 5-minute chart, sideways. Get my point, right? Because we are with a fractal within a fractal within a fractal within a fractal.